Hi, thank you for tuning into my channel. I will be sharing podcasts on a regular basis that will let you experience the Feldenkrais Method via awareness through movement lessons. In the lessons, I will talk you through all the steps. You listen and do at the same time. The lessons are designed to improve ability and reduce effort in movement. The speed of an exercise should always be adjusted to your breathing rhythm. For the lesson, always find a place where you can lie down comfortably and wear clothing that doesn't interfere with your movements and breathing. Also, take a rest whenever you want to. There will be plenty of rests in the lessons, but if you need more, please do. The lessons have been recorded live while teaching a class. This lesson is called Flexing Hand and Feet with arms and legs over the chest. So you can lie on your back. And for now, have your legs long and also your arms long on the floor alongside you. And just notice your two arms and your two legs and your spine with your head on top of it. And as you sense your four limbs and your spine, feel your whole right hand with its 5 fingers and its wrist. And how many fingers do you feel? Or which fingers do you feel? Do you feel all 5 of them? Or are a few of them more clear? And if you feel the fingers, do you feel the back of the fingers? Or the tips? Or the front? And now go to your left hand and your left wrist and your left fingers. And what do you sense? Which fingers do you sense on this hand? And is it the same fingers as the other hand? And also notice, is it the fronts of the fingers or the tips of the fingers or the side? And then go to your right leg. Feel your right leg and your right foot. And if you feel your right foot, do you include the sole of the foot and your toes? And which toe of your right foot is clearer? Or maybe a few are quite clear and then maybe one or two less clear. And then go to the left leg and the foot and the left toes. And what happens when you try to sense it all at the same time? So your hands, your fingers, your wrists, your arms, and your legs and feet with the toes. Can you sense it all at the same time? Or are you jumping from one to the other? Now put your forearms in the air, so bend your elbows and leave them on the floor. So the elbows are on the ground. And it's just the forearms that come up, and the palms of the hands are going toward the feet. So the direction of the palms of the hand is toward the feet. And your legs are long still. And now start to take your fingers in the direction of the feet. So fold the fingers and the wrist toward the feet and then bring them back up again. So the fingers, they fold toward the feet. The palm of the hand is in the direction of the feet also, so not in the direction of the head. The palm is the inside of the hand. And back again to the beginning. And what do you feel in your feet as you move your hands and fingers? Fold them toward the toes and the legs. Now stop the movement of the fingers and start to fold all the toes in the direction of the hands and then back again. So you bend at the ankle joint. You kind of push the heel gently away a little bit. And then your toes move closer to your hands. And then you release again and repeat this. And feel as you do that what happens in your lower back. And in your face. And maybe other front surfaces. And now do them both together. So curl the fingers in the direction of the feet as you bring the toes toward the fingers. And then release both and then do it again. So they move toward one another. So you kind of fold your fingers and you also kind of fold your wrist. So somehow the fingers stay quite soft. And if it's too hard to fold the fingers, then just fold from the wrist. So the hands and the feet make the same movement somehow. So it's somehow like this weird, like, hi, just waving from the wrists. And as the fingers go toward the feet come toward the fingers, so they don't chase each other. They go toward each other. And let go and just rest. And feel if there's anything in the middle of yourself that's different. In the front, the back, on your sides. And now again, have your legs long still. Bend your elbows. Have your elbows on the floor and only your lower arm perpendicular to the elbow. And again, the hands toward the feet. And bring the bend at the wrists and bend at the ankle. Bring the toes toward the fingers and the fingers toward the toes at the same time again. And as you repeat this, notice if there's any movement at all in your eyes, also when they're closed. And do they go down or up at a certain point? So it's when the fingers go toward the feet, the toes come toward the hands. And what happens with your eyes? And are you still breathing? And let go and rest. Now bring your knees over your chest. So bend your knees and let the feet come off the floor and just hang them over your chest. And have your elbows as before. So the elbows are on the floor and you just bring the hands in the air. The lower arm and the hands come into the air and the elbows are on the floor. What we did in the first time. And now start the movement of bending the wrist so the fingers go toward the feet and bending at the ankle so the toes go toward the fingers, and repeat it in this position. So again, the toes go closer to the fingers and the fingers come closer to the toes. And keep on doing this. Have all four things move together and feel what happens in your chest. And reduce the effort as much as possible. Make it really nice to do. It's like a flexor movement. It's something neurological in the system that really can establish a relation between the hands and the feet, like this, like an old circuitry that you can feel by moving hands. The hands can help the feet. And it's probably different, right, to do this movement with your hands and your feet closer together than when the legs were long. Or maybe not. Or maybe it's not so clear. Feel what happens in the front parts of yourself. So in the front of your chest, your belly, your abdomen, your face. So you move the toes towards each other and then you bring them back again. The toes go toward the fingers go toward the toes, and then you release and then you repeat it. And rest again. And you can rest with your legs long or still over your chest, whatever you think is comfortable. And for everybody that had the legs long, bring your legs over your chest again. And this time also have your elbows over your chest, but still with the palm of the hand, so the inside of the hand toward the feet. But you can just rest the elbows now on your chest comfortably. Try to make it a comfortable position. And now extend the right hand and foot so they go away from each other. And flex the left hand and foot so they come toward each other. And then swap it over. So you start with extending the right fingers and the right toes away from each other by bending in the wrist and the ankle. And you bring the left fingers and toes together by flexing the ankle and the wrist. And then you flip it over. And notice if this is easy or not so easy. So the soles of the palms of the hands are toward the feet. And then you fold in the ankle and in the wrist, so the fingers and the toes come closer to one another on the one side, and the other side, the toes extend, and the wrist also flips the other way, so the fingers and the toes go away from each other. And let go of the movement and rest however you want. Now have your legs long. And your elbows are on the floor. You bend at the elbows, so the lower arm comes off the floor, so it's standing up like a tree. And the palms of your hands are towards your feet. And now do the same movement. So the right hand and foot extend together, and the left hand and foot flex together. And then you switch it around and keep moving. So on one side, the fingers and the toes move away from each other, and on the other side, the fingers and the toes move toward each other, and then you flip it around. So the hand is doing the opposite, like the two hands are doing the opposite and the 2 feet. But the right side does the same as the left side. So on one side, the fingers and the toes come closer together, so they don't chase each other. And on the other side, the toes and the fingers are moving away from each other. So and while you do this, what do you feel on your whole side, like everything in between your hand and feet? What do you feel is happening there? And let go and just rest. And notice what you feel around your eyes and in your neck. And how do you feel your fingers or your feet? And now, with your legs long still, stand on your elbows, have your lower arms so the fingers are toward the ceiling and the palm of the hand, the inside, is toward the feet. And now, when you flex the right foot, you will extend the right hand. And you extend the left foot, and you will flex the left hand. So it's like a diagonal now. So when you flex the right foot, the toes come closer towards your face. Then you will extend the right hand. And then you extend the right foot so the toes go away from you. Then you flex the left hand so the fingers point toward the toes. So if you flex the right foot, you also flex the left hand. And if you extend the right foot, you also extend the left hand. So now they're moving on a diagonal. So this time, if you look at one side, they chase each other. The fingers chase the toes, and the toes chase the fingers. But if you look at the diagonal, you're doing the same as what we did just a minute ago. And then switch. Go again to doing the same thing on one side. So if you, on the one side, you bring the toes and the fingers closer together. On the other side, the toes and the fingers move away from each other, and you flip that. And is that very different from what you did before? And you switch sides. So once it's the right side where the fingers and the toes move away from each other, and then it's the other side where the fingers move away from the toes and the toes away from the fingers. And then go back to the other one. Go back to the diagonal. So when and feel what's happening in your abdomen, in your chest. And see if you can go faster. Little by little. Very little by little, and keep breathing. Notice that this breath is your anchor. So you go as fast as you can, but then notice if you're still breathing. And if you kind of stop breathing or you change your breath, slow down again. And let go of the movement. Have your arms resting on the floor and your legs long. And what's happening to the tonus from behind you and from in front? And now bring your legs over your chest again with your feet hanging that we just did. And also your elbows are kind of on your chest and your fingers are toward the ceiling. On the palms of your hand are facing toward the feet. And now in this situation, play with what we just did with the legs long. So your knees are bent and they're hanging over your chest. And start slow. So we go back to the diagonal. So if the right fingers go toward the feet, bending in the wrist, the right toes come closer to the fingers. And then the right fingers move away from the feet and the left toes move away from the fingers. So it's a diagonal. So in the diagonal, it's either the fingers go toward the toes and the other diagonal, the toes and the fingers move away from each other, and then you flip it over to the other side. And keep repeating this. And as you do that, can you feel if one hand has a bigger presence? And if one foot maybe is bigger or clearer to you? And what happens in the belly and the chest and in your face and your throat. And now slowly also in this position, speed up the movement and feel what happens as you change the speed. And let go of the movement and just rest with your legs long and your arms long. And now have your legs long. Have your arms alongside you and just bend at the elbows. What we did, and then have the palm of the hand go toward the feet. And now extend both feet, so point the toes away from your hand as you flex both hands. And then you flex both feet and you extend both hands. So now both feet extend, both hands flex, and then both feet flex and both hands extend. So they chase each other now. So when the fingers go to the feet, the toes go away, and when the toes come toward the hands, the fingers go away. And what does this evoke in you when you do this? Is this very familiar to you, or is it very unfamiliar? And now drop this movement so you can bring your knees over your chest again. And now do this movement in this position. So your fingers chase your toes and your toes chase your fingers. And what's the difference when the limbs are closer to each other? And now stay in this position with your knees over your chest and your elbows also over your chest, and play with all the combinations we did and switch between them. And keep track of what you're doing. So what did we do? We had the right fingers going toward the right toes, and then the left toes and the left fingers would move away from each other, and then we would flip it around. So they go towards each other on one side and away from each other on the other side, and then we flip it over. And then we had the diagonal. So when the right toes come closer to the fingers, the left fingers go closer to the toes, and the right fingers go away from the toes, and the right toes go away from the face. So it's cross, 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 cross. And then we had chase each other. So the fingers chase the feet and the feet chase the fingers. And you keep bending at the wrists and the ankles to keep it nice and soft. And this diagonal combination, does it not feel like locomotion almost, like walking? But then very weirdly? Or maybe not. I don't know. And let go of the movement. And roll up to sitting. and then to standing, and then just walk around a little bit. And notice how you're walking. And notice how you walk. And feel how your arms and legs are related, and how you feel your feet and your hands. And what else do you feel? What else are you more aware of? And that's the end of the lesson. Thanks.